Welcome to Newswatch. Thank you for joining us for this newscast. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language is Boniface Mureithi. Newswatch begins now. Religious leaders in the country have continued to reject the Religious Organization Bill 2024, which seeks to regulate churches in the country. Speaking in Nairobi today, the clergymen under the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya (EAKS) said that the bill should be withdrawn in its entirety as it poses a serious threat to religious freedom in its current form. The bill was proposed by Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana and follows the findings of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee formed to investigate the proliferation of religious organizations after the Shakahola massacre starvation cult in March last year. Our reporter Dolly Mwirigi begins our bulletin tonight.
Since it was made public, the Religious Organization Bill 2024 proposed by Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana has sparked mixed reactions among religious leaders in the country. Perhaps it is because Senator Mungatana is the one who chaired the ad hoc committee that investigated the proliferation of religious organizations following the revelation of the Shakahola massacre, which has been blamed on the extreme religious beliefs. Most leaders now feeling that the church was being punished as a whole because of the criminal elements in the Shakahola case. Senator Mungatana has however defended the proposal in the bill, saying they aim to curb religious extremisms and address the challenges posed by unregulated religious organizations that have emerged in the recent years.
To table the bill took the religious leaders here and across Kenya by surprise, particularly coming after
religious leaders from Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, who held a meeting today at Sitam Valley Road, have rejected the bill, demanding its immediate withdrawal. According to EAK, the bill unjustly limits religious activities, including evangelism, and prevent religious leaders from engaging fully in their own institutions.
Haikuwa na stakeholders, ilikuwa na wanasiasa. Hii presidential task force ilikuwa na stakeholders wote, na tulizungumza na stakeholders kokote ambapo tulipoenda. Hatukuzungumza tu na wanasiasa. Kwa hivyo hii inakuja kunyonga mhubiri, na ukifuatilia sana inazungumza kuhusu kanisa. Ile ya task force inazungumza kuhusu dini, religious organizations. Kwa hivyo ya Mungatana tunaona kama inakuja kuwa sabotage ile ya task force, na hiyo ndio sababu tunaikataa na kusema hatuitaki.
The bill has however been introduced in the Senate for first reading following the sittings by the Senate Ad Hoc Committee after its inquiry into the mass deaths in Shakahola tragedy, which according to the religious leaders fails to address the culpability of public officers including the police, whose negligence led to the tragic outcomes of Shakahola.
Acknowledge that some rogue individuals have infiltrated and misused religious platforms, leading to the abuse of their flock owing to religious extremism. We must also recognize the historical and vital role that most religious institutions play in Kenya today. As a community of Christians and believers, we are deeply concerned by the hurried and premature way the Mungatana bill has been tabled.
Among the religious leaders' recommendations, the report of the Presidential Task Force on the review of the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations in the country be taken through civic education before it's implemented by the proposed implementation committee.
Kwamba sisi kama kanisa tunapinga kila kitu na tunataka tu kusimama hivyo na kufanya vitu ovyo na kuleta maafa. Lakini kile hatutakubali ni kwamba ukiangalia kila sehemu Kenya hii, lawyers wako na regulations zao na wako na timu yao ya kuregulate, media wako wako na yao, na mbona na sisi tusiwe na yetu?
Dolly Mwirigi for Hope TV, Nairobi.
The High High Court has certified as urgent a petition seeking the removal of the newly installed Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja Kirocho. In the petition, Busia Senator Okia Omtata claims the IG was hand-picked, adding that President William Ruto violated the constitution since the recruitment was not competitive as required by law. High Court Judge Bahati Wamunye certified the petition as urgent and ordered the preservation of all information, documentation and materials generated to the suitability, nomination and vetting, approval and appointment of Kanja as the Inspector General of Police. The case will be mentioned on the 15th of October for further directions. And President William Ruto has called on African heads of state to go to the United Nations Climate Change Conference later in the year in a united voice. The president said Africa's agenda at COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, should be to push for a new and equitable climate financing mechanism, noting that the new financing must match the urgency and the scale of the climate crisis and adequately address the needs of Africa and other developing nations. He said Africa must push for an increase in global investment in energy transition from the current 3% to effectively support climate adaptation. The president made the remarks during an extraordinary meeting of the Committee of African Heads of State and Government on Climate Change, CAHOSC, on the sidelines of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. President Ruto, who is the chair of the CAHOSC, said meaningful investments in Africa's resources, whether in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, green transport, or nature-based solutions, are key to ensuring effective climate adaptation. Now, earlier on, the president hosted the inaugural steering committee meeting of the African Green Industrialization Initiative, AGI, a platform that brings together African leaders and partners from the finance, industry, and philanthropic sectors.
And therefore, we must continue to advocate for debt sustainability and the reform of the international financial system to ensure climate justice. On the subject of reform, I have written to the incoming COP29 presidency, and I spoke to them yesterday, to request a high-level political event during the World Leaders Summit, focusing on measuring the green wealth of nations, specifically natural capital and economic productivity in Africa. This event will be led by the Congo Basin countries, and I have spoken to our elder President Sassou Nguesso to lead the way. And the African Development Bank President Adesina has agreed to take charge of this initiative, aiming to re-index GDP to accurately reflect the true wealth of our nations. It is not correct for a wealthy continent like Africa to be classified as poor merely because our wealth has not been taken into account. We will be having a meeting next Monday in Congo-Brazzaville, led by the Africa Development Bank, with selected 14 countries, to prepare our position for the meeting.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has challenged African countries to hasten the adoption of artificial intelligence as a critical catalyst to the faster growth of their economies. Speaking when he opened the 41st International Association of Science Parks and Areas of Innovation IASP World Conference in Nairobi on behalf of President William Ruto, Gachagua said Kenya is on the right path in infusing AI in leading sectors of the economy, adding that it is the way to go to ensure the nation advances. Now, Kenya is hosting the 41st IASP conference, which is returning to Africa after 20 years. Over 50 countries have sent representatives for the three-day conference organized by Konza Technopolis, whose theme is Demographics, Entrepreneurship and Technology, Defining the Frontiers of Future Economies.
As Kenya hosts this conference, we are showcasing investment opportunities in Konza Technopolis, our flagship project, as we build a self-sustaining smart city to support the various strands of the economy. Such smart cities must set the pace in propagating an enabling
ETYT.
environment that allows for the converting imagination into innovations in line with the demands of time. Tech-leading countries globally are reaping from infusing artificial intelligence into agriculture, health, trade, manufacturing, tourism, education, among other critical sectors of the economy. Kenya and Africa cannot prosper by consuming imported technology and innovation only. We have unique resources and challenges which must inform our deliberate and strategic investment in research and development as a precursor to customized solutions. With artificial intelligence estimated to contributing $15.7 trillion to the global economy by the year 2030, Kenya and Africa must have a bite of the benefit of this technology. It is an even playground in innovation. Nothing stops us from exporting our excess technology to the world. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in technology and innovation lies immense potential of transforming the lives and livelihoods of our people in Africa. I wish to express our profound appreciation to the International Association of Science Parks and Areas of Innovation for its crucial role in spurring the growth of science parks and innovation hubs worldwide. Your efforts have been instrumental in nurturing ecosystems that foster creativity, collaboration, and advancement in technology. This is through providing a direct link between learning institutions, innovation hubs, and the pool of industry experts in these exclusive knowledge exchange fountains. Our higher learning institutions, like the University of Nairobi Science and Technology Park, are generating knowledge and potent research-based innovations which will benefit from science parks in linkage to industrial application.
And government spokesman Dr. Isaac Mwaura has urged Kenyans to focus on amplifying the positive initiatives undertaken by the government instead of opposing everything. In his weekly press address, Dr. Mwaura urged journalists to do more to tell about what the government is doing. The Kenya Kwanza government has lately been under immense scrutiny, with Kenyans taking on social media to point out what they consider as bad governance in all sectors, leaving the government constantly on its defense. But the government has now called for patriotism and unity among Kenyans, saying this will ensure the country progresses well.
We know very well that UHC has been tried under the Kibaki administration. It wasn't successful. It was tried under the Big Four agenda. Again, it didn't succeed. Let's get it right under the Kenya Kwanza administration, or the broad-based government as we know it now. The frameworks include the Primary Healthcare Act, the Social Health Insurance Act, along with the Emergency, Chronic, and Critical Illness Act. Together with these three frameworks, we will create the funds for the primary health care, that's the first one, the Emergency and Chronic and Critical Illness Fund, and both of which will be publicly financed, and the Social Health Insurance Fund to be financed through individual contributions. So the first two, the Primary Health Care Fund and the Critical Care, will be directly sourced from the Exchequer, but the rest will be based on this contribution that we are making. The shift from NHIF to SHA aims to provide comprehensive, quality, and equitable health care for all Kenyans, including those in the informal employment sector, through the engagement of community health promoters, CHPs. SHA envisions a system in which preventive and promotive healthcare services work towards early diagnosis and treatment, further lessening the disease burden. Under NHIF, registered members contribute a minimum of Kenya shillings 500 per month, regardless of their financial situation.
On that call for positivity, we take a short break here on Newswatch. We'll be back with many more news items. Don't go too far.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Hope TV presents News on the Go. Every day at 4 p.m. for all the breaking news and news making headlines. Hope TV, look and live.
This week on Hope Devotion.
Jesus is talking to you. If you want to have a great life, he's saying, I want to help you build it.
Join Reverend Bill Pipke as he shares the Word of God on the topic of integrity.
Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus was one who spoke the truth with grace. Trust is one of the pillars of integrity. If I can trust you, then I want to build a relationship with you.
Start your day with hope and peace every morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Hope TV, look and live.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Welcome back. The National Government Administration Officers, also known as NGAOs, will now collaborate with the Ministry of Health officials to facilitate the registration of 12 billion households effectively, efficiently. and at minimal costs. This has been announced in a meeting by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration and the Ministry of Health ahead of the rollout of the Universal Health Coverage UHC on the 1st of October this year. According to CS Kithure Kindiki, necessary legal framework has been put in place and all the preparatory work is done to ensure successful implementation of the UHC. He said the national government administration structures exist to support all government operations across the country. And so far, 1.4 million people out of the targeted 12 million have been registered in the program.
This exercise will be done, of course, through the leadership and coordination of GAO officials, but with the cooperation and involvement of the 110,000 community health promoters who have been deployed by this same national government in partnership with county governments across the country, so that the exercise is seamless and is easier. And between the 106,000 elders and the 106,000 or 110,000 CHPs, I think this is a team that will deliver this thing in record time.
We really need your expertise. We need to leverage on your platform so that we can sensitize, inform the community about the benefits, because there's a lot going on and they are not informed, so that they can know the benefits, they can register, and they are able to access affordable quality care.
A look at business news now. Trade and Investment Cabinet Secretary Salim Mvurya has lauded the introduction of electric vehicles by Luxair into the country, terming it a timely contribution to Kenya's sustainable development goals. Speaking during the launch of Build Your Dreams BYD electric vehicles by Luxair Kenya at the Toyota CFAO Mobility Kenya Limited showroom in Nairobi, CS Mvurya said the launch was a testament to Kenya's dedication towards green industrialization and its readiness to support cutting-edge, eco-friendly technologies. Mvurya said the government has prioritized the adoption of e-mobility to achieve a number of targets, not only to comply with the existing carbon emission reduction commitments of 32% reduction by 2030, but also to lower Kenya's reliance on oil imports. The Trade and Investment Cabinet Secretary said his ministry will actively fast-track the automobility draft bill that aims at driving the adoption of electric vehicles and supporting industries tied to e-mobility. And in efforts to empower women in agribusiness, the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, has called for the strengthening of policies and systems to ensure women and youth have access to resources, finance, and markets. In a partnership, the Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya, AGRA has held its Women in Agribusiness Forum 2024, bringing together women leaders, entrepreneurs, and stakeholders in the agribusiness sector. Through its Value for Her program, the organization has continued to address some of the key barriers to women's business growth and market participation in agriculture. Grace Ahati with that report.
Question number 2 from access to finance and question.
Making up 60 to 70% of smallholder farmers, women have been described as the backbone of agriculture in Africa, hence the necessity to bridge the gaps that hinder them from soaring in the male-dominated sector. To this regard, the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, has held its Women in Agribusiness Forum 2024 as it seeks to enhance efforts to empower more women in agribusiness across the continent. Through its Value for Her program, which targets key obstacles that hinder women's growth and participation in agriculture, the organization is set to onboard 3,000 women onto its platform with plans for multilingual support to enhance accessibility.
Research and statistics, there is about a 30% gap in productivity and profitability just based on the imbalances around gender. If we're able to close this gap or bridge this gap, which is bringing in women into the conversation as well as youth, building inclusive systems, building inclusive organizations, building inclusive policies, we should be able to close this gap and possibly even see an increase in GDP in multiples of millions and maybe even sometimes billions of dollars when it comes to bridging the gender gap in productivity and profitability across the agri-food systems.
In efforts to transform the agribusiness landscape across Africa, the Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya has emphasized the critical need for the empowerment of women in the sector. This is through enhancing their access to markets and trade, access to finance and investments, learning, networking, as well as global advocacy.
And why women is because we believe empowering a woman is empowering a family, is empowering many generations to come, and therefore we want to ensure that their businesses are anchored into a structured business, they are anchored into strategies, and that they have a business plans even as they do their business, other than just imagining that they're doing business. We want to ensure that they're doing profitable, sustainable business that can be scaled, and for those who are already in the export, we want to have them scale. For those who are not in the export, we want them to get to export. For those in the domestic market and are struggling with the market, we are here to ensure that there's connectivity between different value chain actors to the markets.
Participants at the forum also underscored the importance of this initiative, stating that it will be instrumental in ensuring that women are not left behind in the agricultural sector. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
And a section of Kakuzi shareholders have affirmed their support for the agribusiness company's diversification and expansion plans following a familiarization tour of the farm's operations in Murang'a County today. As part of its business expansion and diversification strategy, Kakuzi, a superfood producer, has committed to executing a sustainability-anchored agricultural portfolio diversification agenda. Kakuzi PLC Managing Director Chris Flowers said the agenda, with a capital outlay of 100 million shillings next year, focuses on key issues such as integrating agricultural technology, water stewardship, measuring and reducing carbon emissions, reducing waste products, and hopefully introducing new commercial produce such as blueberries and expanded livestock range. During the shareholders' visit, Kakuzi board chairman Nicholas Nganga said the farm had grown beyond a farm enterprise and is now an integrated international agri-business player.
As you tour the facilities today, you see our integrated approach to land management. It is important to note that if there were no protected water catchment areas in Kakuzi, there would be no water in the dams, which in turn would severely limit our capacity to undertake sustainable agricultural production.
We've also got the capacity to diversify our markets. You can see now the challenges the world faces. Whether it's Israel, whether it's Hamas, whether it's Hezbollah, the problem is global supply chains are becoming more and more complicated. We as Kakuzi have got to make sure we can go east, we can go west, we can go north, we can go south with our products. Then if something goes wrong anywhere, we have the others to rely on. That is what diversification is to us, and that's why we're proposing to do these commercial trials, to use your money to develop the future sustainability for your company.
And Absa Bank Kenya has hosted entrepreneurs, industry experts and key stakeholders for an empowerment forum in Mombasa to explore business opportunities for small and medium enterprises, SMEs, in the coastal region. The forum, which is part of Absa Business Club engagements, provides SMEs with an opportunity to learn about the latest industry trends, financial solutions and networking opportunities in order to encourage long-term business growth. Speaking during the forum, Absa Kenya Chief Financial Officer Yusuf Omari highlighted the bank's efforts in working with SMEs to ensure they scale their business. To some sports now. KCB FC head coach Patrick Luwawo Odhiambo is expecting his side to maintain their winning streak when they face Ulinzi Stars at the Police Sacco Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Speaking during a training session, Oduor said the team is in great spirits, as evident in their training. The Bankers have won 2 of the last 3 matches of the season. In the opening week of the 2024-2025 Kenya Premier League, the team shared spoils with Kariobangi Sharks before seeing off Murang'a Seals 2-0 at their home turf.
Confidence inaenda kigrow. Ukiangalia tulianza na Sharks tukapata draw, tumekuja tukawin game 2 zikifuatana, na I think inafaa tuendelee kuput in more effort because Ulinzi is not a weak team, is a very strong team, and we respect each and every opponent, and I think approach yetu ni kuendelea work hard at least to get maximum points, then we tackle an opponent at a time. Right now we are focusing on Ulinzi.
Ulinzi kawaida ni wapinzani wagumu sana, na mechi najua itakuwa ngumu kulingana na matokeo yale hawajapata mazuri kuanzia tangu ligi. So tunajua mchezo utakuwa mgumu, lakini tunajaribu kujikidi kufanya mazoezi ili tuweze kurekebisha mahali tuko na itilafu kidogo, na inshallah tunajua tutapata matokeo.
And Kisumu City Stars are the crowned champions of the Tujiamini Chezadimba Nyanza region competition held at the Moi Stadium. The Stars overcame the rivals Kisumu Greenlands in the finals and will now represent the region in the nationwide tournament. In the women's category, Ohola Queens FC clinched the Nyanza region title. The Stars have clinched a 3-year sponsorship deal of 250,000 shillings annually, courtesy of Tujiamini Nas Sport Pesa. The Tujiamini Chezadimba Nyanza region is an initiative that empowers young people and promotes sports development in Kenya. How we wrap up Newswatch tonight. Thank you for your company. It's been my pleasure. My name is Melissa Oduor. Boniface Muredi has been on the sign language, and until next time, good night.